Welcome, Alex. My friend Alex.
Hello, Frank. How are you?
It's really good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Love you. I owe a lot to you. And you know that I do. And and I think I said this to you recently but you didn't want that.
I don't want that credit. No, anyone who does what or takes the journey we've taken.
Talking to the mic.
Talking to the mic.
There it is. Yeah. You can move it with you if you need. But
I don't know. I feel awkward doing that, but I'll try.
All right. But I do. It's another woman came on here. Her name's Megan Cohen, and I owe a lot to her to my second term of sobriety. My first term, it was 4 years, so I had a full I just didn't get reelected.
You can say that.
I didn't get reelected into my second term of sobriety, but now I am. I have been reelected, and I owed a lot to her, and she took it very well.
Good.
But you're the first. I had tried to get sober so many times before, you know. I did in 2016, but that was my first real go around of a taste of what true sobriety is.
Sure, yeah,
that was like an amazing experience. Sitting in. I talk about it all the time. When I tell my story, I start out by, I start.
When do you really want to start that?
I started out by going, "How did I get here? How did I get here?"
I get that, and
then I say, I heard someone in the room say that the other day, and it made me think how I got here. Because, and then I'll go, because 2 years ago, I'm running out of this house in North Jacksonville, Florida. I just had shotguns pulled on me, held in a room for a day, and attempting to be robbed. They're robbing someone with no money. But I was set up, and then I drive away, and there's 2 flat tires because they had my car, so they must have popped my tires where they had my car. And I pull behind this warehouse.
I feel like you're making this all up.
Oh no, 100%. and I drive on flat tires out behind this warehouse, and I get out of my car to look at the damage, and I lean against my car, and those are the words that came out of my mouth. How did I get here? Because back in 2016, and then that's where I go with it.
Sure.
I wind up in Statesboro, Georgia. And I called my buddy Alex. So that's how I got to tell. So you're in my story.
You know, it's funny. Like when I think about how did I get here, like that was the question that kind of led me to sobriety. Was you and I had been hanging out for a couple of months, and I remember sitting there, and I had just I've shared this in many a meeting before. I had just robbed the place I worked at.
Yeah,
I was with you.
I was a getaway car.
Yeah, you were the getaway car. It wasn't like a substantial amount of money, but just enough to get my fix. And
shitty fix though. It was crappy what we got.
Yeah, it was. But at least we got to play Mario Kart all night. That was fun.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there going, "How did I get here?" And that was literally like the same question that led me to be like, "Holy shit, I got here because of me." And that was like the first very, very kind of white light moment I'd ever had, where it was like I finally had come to the conclusion that, oh, I might be the problem and that's not everyone else's.
That's the 4th column of the 4th step, and I freaking love that people say that's my favorite part of the 12 steps is the 4th column of the 4th step. My part, it's my fault.
Yeah, no, I mean, like we're the only common denominator. That's the biggest thing that it took me to, is that I had been bouncing around geographically and emotionally for so many years, and it wasn't until that moment, that moment where I was like, shit, I am the problem. So yes, Frank, it was the last person I ever did drugs with.
Yes. I told somebody that the other day, or Chris, because he's like, "How do you know Alex?" And I was like, "I was the last person he did drugs with." With pride. I didn't stop for another year and a half. I still hung out with Tim Myers. And
Tim Myers.
He's doing well, though.
He is.
I think he's 9 or 10 years sober now. He's 9. He's 9.
Yeah, no, I think I am.
Coming up on 10.
Randomly for my job. I don't go on Facebook ever, but I have to go on Facebook for my job, which is so random. And I'm friends with him on Facebook, so I see what he's doing every once in a while, and it seems like he's doing well.
Yeah, he's got a wife and kid.
Good for him. That's great.
Yeah. No, he's a plumber too, which is awesome. I kind of wish I did that instead of going to school.
I think about that sometimes. I don't know
Dude,
if I'd be
why did we go to school?
Why did I go to grad school? I don't know. Yeah.
Dude, thank you for filling out my college application. Do you remember doing that?
I do remember doing that. Yeah, to get into North Georgia or Jacksonville,
East Georgia.
East Georgia. That's what it was. Yeah,
Yeah, to get into East
I
Georgia.
remember doing that. I remember sitting there. It was like what my mom used to do when I didn't want to do schoolwork. She just
Bro, I was just such a mess, like mentally. And going back through sobriety again, I think back on that first year of sobriety in Georgia where like I thought I could make decisions and I thought that the decisions I was making were correct most of the time. And then it was little tasks like that I just couldn't do.
Well, for me, like I remember in that moment thinking where you were at, and I remember thinking similarly. It was that I didn't feel like I deserved it. That was I'm speaking for me, and I just remember sitting there going, it was a huge struggle for me to even put pen to paper,
Yes,
right? And so,
absolutely.
like, that was what we did was it was literally you just saying, I would be asking you questions like, "What's your name?
What's your name? Yep.
Francis
What's your birthday?
Lyons. What's your birthday?" Okay, that it was just like it was like a hand holding a buddy just to try to get him through it because you were gonna get in regardless. It was a community college,
Yeah.
right? So it was like I knew that it wasn't that big of a task, and it would have propelled you to the next step you wanted to get to. So
Yeah, and I really, really needed that because I don't know if I would have filled out the college application if you didn't do it.
no, I know, and I get that. Like, I think one thing that I share with like my sponsees even is that to me is a really logical response from someone in early sobriety or even an alcoholic because that's how we're geared to think, right? So oftentimes people outside of having some sort of addiction issue, they think like, why would you do that? Why don't you just fill out the application? I'm like,
You don't understand how hard it is.
you don't understand the mind, the headspace that you're in. Like
Yeah.
we're perpetually in this constant state of chaos, and anything that seems like it's going to at least advance our life. Like for me, I never thought that I was worthy of that. So I'm like, it had this weird mental block to try to do any of that. So it was people, that I had early in my sobriety that were able to like propel me to like, hey, you should go apply for this job. And I'd be like, I don't know if I should do
Yeah.
that stuff.
It's so hard.
It's so hard. But the thing is, like, it's those, mental calluses you create over time. And sometimes you just need some help in the beginning. And you know how it goes.
Yeah. And it makes me a lot more compassionate towards like my sponsees now because I'll be sitting with them and, oh my gosh, my one sponsee got in the car the other day and he just moved to a halfway house in Croydon and, like Levittown, Croydon, Bristol area. And,
did you blow up that nursing home?
No, I wish. But
like background, I was coming here this week and I was looking up where your address was because I wanted to see like how much time it would take me to get here.
To the nursing home?
No, when I was going to meet you at the meeting for yesterday, right? And I was looking at how much time, and then the first thing I see is explosion at this nursing home. And of course, I texted Frank, and I was like, "Did you blow this place up?" And no, but it was national news.
I didn't respond because I didn't want to say yes or no. But no, my sponsor gets in the car the other day, and he just moves to Croydon. I was living in halfway houses in Croydon too, and I get in the car and I'm like kind of in somewhat of a rush, but I'm like, all right, where are we going to go get coffee? And he looks at me and goes, you had a week to think about this. And I was like, motherfucker. Like, so did you. But my mind kind of switched to, it probably would have been really hard to take a whole week to just figure out where to go get coffee. Like, that's kind of where it went to just be, 3 months sober. And to be like, where to go get coffee? Like, that would be so stressful to me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I joke all the time about how I needed someone to tell me to make my bed every morning.
Yeah.
Like I need someone to just take out the decision-making process for me for a long time so that I could just be.
Yeah.
Right? Because being was a hard existence. Like if I wanted to be, I needed to be under the influence of something because it was intolerable otherwise.
Yeah. And I used to think that where you went to treatment, 18 months was way too long. And now I just think that it's absolutely necessary. I think so the one woman I brought on here, I kept calling, she works for a treatment center, so I don't think she could say too much, but I call it the rehab industrial complex that we live in today with rehabs. And this is my whole understanding. Rehabs used to go, like almost like minimum 90-day stay. They would do up to 6 months, things like that. And now it's insurance. It's the insurance companies that are part of the rehab
that's
industrial
true.
complex.
That's
So
true.
now it's a 28-day stay because the insurance companies will pay for it. And then they do the PHPs, which are 3 times, and which is another 6 to 8 weeks because it's a lesser stay. You don't have to pay for as much. They kind of put you in a house. It's not as much for the insurance company. Then IOP, OP,
Yeah.
and they extend it out, 3 to 6 months, but you're not getting the same kind of treatment if you were to just get away and be for 6 months in an inpatient.
No, I mean, and just to caveat it, it's like I had 18 months total treatment, 60 days of which was an inpatient. And then I had a program that I went to for the remaining portion of that, but it was almost like a step down. So I had IOP or intensive outpatient for another 90 days, and then it stepped down to had like individual sessions once a week. But I still had rules that I had to abide by to remain in the house that I was staying in.
But you lived in the same place the whole time.
Yes, in essence, yes, I did. It was a collection of houses that you could move back and forth with between, but
Pods.
Pods, yeah, they were pods. Yeah.
So when you said pods, I literally pictured pods, by the way.
No, I know it was a weird circumstance, but like it was everything I needed it to be at that time.
It's everything that anyone could need at that time.
Yeah,
That place.
I lived in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house with a roommate, and I had a bike. That's all I needed. I didn't have
Love that bike.
Yeah, love that bike. It took me everywhere, rode everywhere from school to my job to meetings. Like
Took me everywhere too,
Yeah,
because I ended up having it.
I forgot.
I took it to Florida with me.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good.
I think you asked for it back one time.
I don't remember.
I don't know where that bike went. I swear like you took it back or something, or like it got stolen.
I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, I remember that bike. Thank you for that bike. That bike helped us both out.
Yeah, got us where we need to go.
Yeah, it got me all around town. But the treatment centers like that, like what you went through is what is kind of like the structure of how rehabs are today. But you don't get to live in the same place. So it's like you're in one place for 4 weeks, and then they move you to a different town for another 6 weeks.
Sure.
Then they'll put you in a halfway house in a separate town. They'll pick you up and bring you out to the IOP to come back to the same place that you were, the last time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you're kind of doing it, but it's just better the way that you did it.
Yeah. No, I was fortunate to have the ability to do it.
And
sure.
a lot of those guys are still sober.
They are and they aren't. I think like, I have a lot of friends that were sober for many years, and then they elected to go and start doing whatever they chose to do, and they're living successful lives in my opinion. So, there's actually very few that have remained sober.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
There's a good amount of Arch, or even the ones in Arch. There's some that have relapsed, like myself, and then went back to sobriety. But I don't know. It's kind of weird thinking back on Georgia, man.
No, I think I can name of my friend group like 3.
Really? Of like the actual lodge that you spent like the whole year with or so?
Oh, that's outside of the lodge as well.
I feel like I can think of 3.
Yeah, the number is small. Like true long-term sobriety, the number is small.
Dang. There's a good amount from Arch that maintained it. I won't say the first names, but a Barnes brother remained it the whole time. One got back to it.
That's one of mine.
Yeah. But he's an Arch guy.
Yeah.
Sterling, he remained it.
Yeah.
Shit.
See,
maybe I can't remember.
Yeah, see, I'm telling you, man.
Maybe there wasn't as many. I think Holt actually remained it.
I don't know Holt very well.
Yeah.
So, no, I have, you named like 2 of the people I was thinking of, so.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
What about like McGuire?
That's the 3rd.
Oh. I thought he did too.
Yeah.
Oh, what about the other guy who played football?
The other guy who played football.
He was a lineman, then he lost a bunch of weight again. He like gained weight, lost weight. Played football for GSU.
Oh, Will?
Yeah.
Will is, I don't want to blow up his spot or not, but Will has his own journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's it. And what's weird about it when you live in Statesboro is it's like you get really shunned when you relapse.
That's a difference between treatment and Alcoholics Anonymous,
Yeah.
so,
Like we don't shoot our wounded in Alcoholics Anonymous.
no, you're embraced, but also you gotta remember I'm a big believer in whatever, incentives are in place are where things will find themselves. So, the incentive for these facilities is to protect their assets,
Totally. I agree.
and so if something is going to put that at risk, then they need to cut that out.
And you don't realize that kinda until you leave.
Hmm.
Because when you're in it, you're like, "What do you mean? Like, let's help this guy out." And then they're
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, but we need to help you guys that are
Yeah,
still in
sure.
here. That person will need to go find help, maybe you can come back."
Yeah, no, of course.
But and I didn't agree with it totally, while I was in there, but leaving and then even, like, working with people, and then you have certain people work for you, and then you become, like, that liability, and you're like, "Oh, yeah, I probably shouldn't
Sure.
do this."
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's odd. It's definitely an odd place to be, but people don't understand addiction,
I
like,
mean,
the way
yeah,
that
but it's I don't expect them to, unless they've had experience of themselves or have had to be a bystander in someone they care about.
yeah. Yeah, but I try to think back the very first time I saw you. No joke. I actually have a pretty vivid memory of it. You're pushing a cart of towels,
Frank and I worked at a gym together. Um,
which is pretty wild. It's around the corner.
yeah, it is around the corner. Yeah,
It's
no,
like 6 minutes from here.
it's a wonderful gym, I have to say.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful gym. I always liked going to places that had um, a basketball court and then a nice gym, and that place had both. So I was really excited about that.
You should go into it now.
Has it changed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They renovated a lot of it.
It had just gotten through a renovation when I got there.
Yeah, but you should say, like, the locker rooms now are a full gym.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, they don't look like the way they used to. Now there's, like, these sitting areas in there, and it's
That's
really
cool.
nice. It's really nice. I don't know if I'd ever belong there again, but it's really nice.
No, I remember meeting you. You were so the place we had, it had a full-on
Bar.
bar, but it was a part of a larger renovation that they had done. It was almost like a water park outside.
Mhm.
So it was a lot very, very popular with families during the summer. And of course, kids are out playing in the water and parents can have a nice drink. And Frank was a bartender.
Yeah, and Alex was janitor.
Yeah, I was a janitor. I was living in, I don't know if Frank knew this at that time,
I did
but
not. Emily House.
I was living at this place called Emily House, which I was about at that time I met Frank, probably 3 or 4 months post. I had a pretty bad DUI, and I was asked by my family to go there, and as a condition of my DUI, that was like what it wasn't required, but it definitely helped in my,
Did you have the DUI here or in Seattle?
in I think the township was Bristol.
Oh.
It was in PA.
What were you doing over here then?
Um, I was going to a pawn shop, and I got pulled
What
over.
were you doing in Pennsylvania?
Well, my grandmother lives in Trenton,
Oh,
so
you were just here visiting?
yeah, no, I was. Oh, what was I doing here in general?
Yeah.
Oh God, how long do we want to go back to get to that part of the
Just
story?
to there.
Okay. I think to condense it, it's that I had many different stops and starts when it came to me remaining sober, or so this like to get me to New Jersey was I was playing college basketball, and I was able to maintain, at least at that moment in time, what I perceived as a healthy response to, or a healthy amount of use, which was like smoking weed every day and drinking on occasion. And then it became, oh, I just drink all the time.
Yeah.
And so I found myself needing to get out of Washington. That was like a big solution of mine, is I was just gonna move. I'd move a bunch. And so I moved to New Jersey 'cause my grandmother lives across the river from here, and was living with her. And I was just working here, but I was working in the beer industry, and there's a lot of access to alcohol when you're in that industry. And that was starting to um, become an issue. And then I got a DUI. So that's how I ended up here.
Did you go to rehab?
No,
They just put you in a halfway house.
no, so prior to me getting the DUI, it was the end of the summer of 2013. And I remember that summer being really difficult because that was the year I was supposed to graduate from college and all my peers were. So it was like a reinforcement that, oh, you're just a big fuck up.
Mm.
And so I was grappling with that and kept drinking. And then I, I asked for help and I went through an outpatient program. That's where I met Tim Myers.
Wow, you met him there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I met Tim there. And then I decided that I was okay. And I started drinking again.
And I got DUI.
And then I got a DUI. Within 3 weeks of me starting drinking, I got a DUI. And that was my first legal consequence ever.
That was your first? You had more?
No, just first legal consequence. I had never had any legal consequences or any run-ins with the law.
And then you lasted at Emily House for a certain amount of time?
Then from Emily House, that was like in January of 2014 till June. And I think I met you in like May. But I started using again right before my birthday, which is in June.
Okay. And then I just remember at Tim Myers, would you call it a house?
I don't know.
Call it a wing?
It was a addition on someone's house that was one room. It was basically a studio that had a bed and a couch, and it was just to me it was just like a drug den. That's what it was.
Yeah, and I'm doing drugs on that table, right when you walk in that door, and you walk in.
And I walked in, and I had already I'd been using a little bit beforehand, so I was open to anything that was on the table.
Yeah, literally.
Mm-hmm.
But I had just moved back from Florida.
After being in a rehab?
No, I was in St. Augustine, Florida, and I was addicted to opiates for like 5-6 years at the time. Came back up and just couldn't get sober. And I don't know if I was really even trying. I was just getting kicked out everywhere I lived. And yeah, that's when I meet Tim Meyer at my sister's house. He was like sitting in the backyard and he goes, "You Frank Lyons?" And I was like, love Tim Meyer. I don't want to talk too much shit about. But I was like, yeah. And then I end up hanging out with Tim Myers. And
yeah, and Tim, I just knew Tim from IOP. But he was a member at where we worked.
Yeah, I think so. His family belonged there.
Yeah,
he got a family package.
Yeah, and then I think that's when we just started to play wiffle ball every day
and do drugs. I'll never forget the type of drugs we were doing to do wiffle ball. It didn't even go hand in hand.
No, but we had a lot of fun doing it.
I think I did it for like 18 days straight. Just the same thing.
It was just nonstop. Once it starts for me, I don't stop. And and then just to recall what we were talking about earlier, that's what led to me stealing money. And then that was that moment I was describing before was like what was the catalyst for me remaining sober. And that's the day I got sober.
Yeah. You walked in the house. You disappeared for a second. We didn't know where you went. I had broken my leg, which I didn't know was broken, playing basketball at the neck. And didn't know it was broken, was walking on it for weeks. Only reason I knew it was broken is because I went to the doctor trying to find drugs. Because I was out of drugs and I was out of money. And they told me I'd been walking on a broken leg. It's just been shifting. That's why it didn't settle. So there was a bone just shifting in it. So then they put me in a boot. And I remember sitting there with the boot on and you walk in the house looking like Steve Urkel.
Because I had a bow tie on.
You had a bow tie?
Yeah. I had some choice fashion decisions at that moment in time. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And you, Jesus. And you had suspenders on, I think.
I did not have suspenders
I think you had suspenders
I would never
on.
wear suspenders.
You had suspenders on and your underwear was over your pants.
That I can believe.
You looked like Doug Funny.
That's not a bad comparison. I'll take that.
And no, you didn't have underwear on over your pants. But I saw you as that.
Yeah.
And we were like, "Hey, Alex," you said, "I need my hats."
I had a lot of hats.
You said, "I need my hats.
Yeah.
I'm going to rehab."
Yeah.
And your sister was sitting in the driveway.
Yeah, she was not with my niece who was like a month and a half old.
And I looked out that window and I went, "Nope, am I going out there? No way. Am I going out there to meet this human being?" And then you disappeared for about 1.5 years until I was sitting in another halfway house in Morrisville, which is nice. It's funny because I go to
which correlates to 18 months. So I was just out of my treatment when you
literally, and you had no phone, no car, no nothing. So, and I remember just talking to Tim, being like, "Dude, where did this guy go?" And so then, which is wild because Tim and I went on a journey together. Ended up after you left,
yeah,
I got re-addicted to opiates. I introduced Tim Myers to it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Really good person.
Well, he's 9 years sober now, dude. Almost
So
10.
really what you're saying is
I helped
you
him.
helped him.
I pushed him over the edge.
Yeah.
To get him to where he was at, because he was struggling too.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I end up. I remember, like, I have a vivid. It's crazy how I don't have many memories of my life, but I have these memories of you, which is really. It's actually really nice. I remember sitting on the couch.
I'm a memorable person. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's shitty. I'm trying to get rid of it. Can't get rid of these fucking Alex memories. But I'm sitting on the couch, and you finally call me back, and I'm like, oh my God. And you're like, yeah, I'm in Georgia, and I had been struggling. This is the second.
You were bouncing around between halfway houses.
Yeah. And this one I was actually doing my best at. And I had maybe just relapsed and didn't tell the house yet, or I was just about to. And I needed a solution. And you call and you're like, hey, I live in Georgia. The place I go is very expensive. I was like, I can't afford that. But you're like, yeah, well, there's this other place.
No, but the other place was really great. It was.
It's amazing.
It had its quirks, but I knew several people who were good friends of mine that had good experiences there.
Yeah. And so I said, I can afford that.
Well, one thing that I think I want to note here is the thing that impressed me the most about that moment in time was you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to sell my car. And that's what you did. You sold
my car and got down to Georgia. I don't think it happened like immediately, because
you were there like 2 or 3 days later.
I think I was there pretty quick, because I must have had then relapsed and was on the phone with you, because they didn't know yet, but I came back from work. I was working at like this Italian restaurant, and the guy who owned who was the house manager, I think his name was Roy. And he looks at me and goes, you're high. And I went, no, I'm not. And he goes, you're taking a drug test. I said, no, I'm not. And I took a drug test and I failed it. And I just went out and said, I did drugs. Before you do that, I just know I did drugs. And
don't waste this on.
And he kicked me out during a snowstorm, and I was just sitting in my car, and I went, I guess this Alex guy, I might have to go do this. And I had no other solution. There was nothing else I could do, and that was the best thing for me, because I had nowhere to go. My parents, I remember calling them, and they're like, you ain't coming back here. And I was like, well, look, I think I have a solution. And I drove over to, and they wouldn't even let me sleep at their house that night. I ended up sleeping at my sister's, and it was St. Patty's Day.
That sounds right. Like
2016.
Okay, it was really 18 months later.
Yeah, it was 2016, because then I was like, this is the solution. My mom knew nothing about it. I remember just laying down out, being like, this is what's going on. And I had been so bad for those like year and a half, 2 years that I had moved back here, that she was just looking for any kind of solution too. And I remember she only allowed me back in the house to pack and stay there that night. And so I packed my stuff, and I had and I still had drugs in my pocket, right? So I was like just packing, and I was like, I'm going to go work on a peach farm in Georgia. I remember saying that. And then it was the last thing I drank was like Balvenie rum. And I didn't sleep that night.
What that is.
Oh, it's like $150 rum. I had stolen it. And and I get my bags packed. I made sure I had enough drugs to get down to Georgia, and I get on a flight drunk, on drugs, still in my pocket, and I sit in the very front row of that plane. And
first class?
No, I think it was just like a 737 or something. And I'm telling the flight attendants that I'm an AA speaker. I'm going to Georgia to talk at AA conferences, and they're all sitting like around me. And I don't know what those people are thinking, because I'm like, it's that delusional state. Like, I'm convinced that like this is what I'm going to do. Like, this is what I'm going to tell these people. That's what I'm doing. And I wound up in Georgia, and I remember falling asleep in between two couches, and then waking up the next morning. It's Todd Parrish meeting him, just in my face. We don't sleep in here. And I was like, all right. And my phone is gone at this moment. The phone's gone, no car. I don't know where northeast, southwest is. I have no idea where I am in the middle of Georgia, or in the middle of southeast Georgia. And
give you context, it's like 45, 50 minutes west of Savannah.
Yes.
In a town called Statesboro. And it's primarily a college town. A large Georgia Southern is located there. That's the primary economic driver.
Yeah.
The rest of it is just
peanut farms.
It's just ag.
Peanut and
it's
cotton farms. It's agriculture.
Cotton, and Statesboro is considered the big town in our area,
Wild.
which is wild. If you ever
It's
driven
a circle.
through it's nothing. It is a big circle. Everything's within the Veterans Memorial Highway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a college town. But it's a true college town. That's what I think the best way to describe it. It's a true rural college town.
But I remember trying to find you, and I was like, my buddy Alex lives here. Like as if I was on a quest and like just wound up there. And I was like, my buddy Alex lives here. I got to find him. And I'd only known you for a couple months.
Yeah.
2-3 months at a time. And they're like, okay. And some of the guys were like, I think we know who Alex is. And
who was it, Tim and Kevin?
No, just some other guys in the house.
Okay.
No, I didn't even see Tim or Sterling.
They had moved out prior to.
Oh, yeah. So like I don't even see them right away. And then eventually they show up and they're like, yeah, we know who Alex is. And but then I still don't see you for like 6 months.
Yeah. No, I think that you had an expectation that you were going to see me.
I thought I was going to be with you every day.
Yeah. No, that's not how it works.
And then I was just stuck in fucking Statesboro, Georgia at Arch Recovery looking for you for 6 months. I think one of the first times I remember the first time I saw you. I was getting you saw me. I was getting out of the food truck. I had all the guys piled up in a food truck for a meeting at the Fork. And they all come piling out of the food truck. And I was like, Alex.
Yeah, what's up?
I think that was the very first time we saw each other after months.
Fork's a central place.
And you're like, oh, look what you're doing. Like, you're driving a food truck. How did you get this thing? I'm like, I work with this guy, Shug. And, yeah, and I think you were sharing your story that night. Okay. And you handed me your 2-year coin. And I still have it.
Oh, thank you. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I still have that coin.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I've moved around so much because I went through a whole craziness, after, living in Georgia to, Florida.
But I want to pause on that. So like you did, in my eyes, have a really successful recovery at that moment in time.
I think so.
You did. You were doing your thing. Like Frank was working with this guy, Shug, and he was, which the funniest part was Frank became vegan, and then Frank also was slinging ribs all day. So Frank cooked.
I wasn't vegan at that time.
Yeah. So he didn't eat meat, but his whole job was to cook thousands of pounds of meat every week, and I'd go and meet him in this. And when I say rural, I'm talking
Register, Georgia.
Rural. Like you're talking about, this is a 1 stoplight town. I don't even know if it was a stoplight.
And we were the only stoplight.
And they were it was in a old gas station. And the only time that like you guys did catering, but the only time you did like a true selling of your stuff was from Saturdays from like 11 to 3.
Yep.
That was it. It was it. And it was awesome. They made ribs, pulled pork, bread pudding, brisket, cornbread. You do see cornbread? I don't think you
sometimes.
Yeah,
not all the time.
Yeah, but
mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. It was awesome.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
You would always come. It was nice. You, Sean Baker, all that. Yeah, it was great. It was like Georgia living.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's like the best part about like why I chose to go down there. Primarily is because they had a really good affiliation. The place I went to had a good affiliation with Georgia Southern, and that was like my biggest driver was to find some place that would help springboard me into school.
Help me graduate,
because that was like, I'd gone to 3 at that point, or 3 or 4 schools at that point, and I was just like, I just want to finish my degree. Like, how can I do this? But I think that the other catalyst was it was in the middle of nowhere, and there was nowhere to escape to. Like, I didn't know anyone. Like, I had to recreate my life and recreate my foundation, and that was like super pivotal for me because I had a lot of shame around what I was trying to do. And if I was able to do that with either people that were like me or people that didn't know me, it was a lot easier.
Yeah. No, Statesboro will always have a special place in my heart.
Yeah. Love Statesboro. I go back all the time.
Yeah.
Which is really random.
Yeah.
I never thought, I thought when I left there, I'd never return, but I go there actually pretty frequently.
Yeah. I don't know. It's, I went back there for Shug's wedding 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. I don't know, something like that. And then, I don't think I've ever been back in that town.
No, last time I was there, I ran into Shug.
Yeah. He was supposed to be up here a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And some things happened that he didn't get up here, but he's trying to come up here in a couple weeks.
Nice.
Love Shug.
He's a good dude.
Awesome dude.
Yeah.
I know. So, yeah, that's how we met. And then ended up living for a while in Georgia, never together in the same house, but
We spent a lot of time together, though.
dude, once I moved out of Arch, we were together all the time.
Yeah, there was a good year where we were spent almost every day with each other.
3 nights of cooking. I would just cook for you guys. You, Andrew, Tim, sometimes Sarah. And I don't know who else would come over.
No, we just play ping pong and talk shit, and I think the biggest thing is like none of us had a lot of money. We were just hanging out in Statesboro. Every once in a while, we make our way to Savannah, but it was a lot of just working, going to school, trying to. I think it felt like boot camp, right? Like the whole purpose was to get out.
Yeah, we were doing it. It was nice because we were. We were. Because not everyone was trying to do that. Some people, I think, were just getting a little stuck there, and that was our plan not to get stuck.
They call it the Statesboro vortex. Like people would get sober and then they'd find their life there and then they just stay. And I'm like, that is not what I want at all. And I knew that was the case. I was trying to go to school, graduate, get the fuck out. That was my goal.
I think I had such a fear of that, and that's why I exited at like 2+ years.
You left right after I left.
Yeah, or actually, right before.
I think you because I went. Me and Baker, we left to go and travel, and you left and went down to Florida.
Yeah,
because you're going to move into my old spot.
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah, and then that plan changed. I just couldn't see. I talked about it. I actually was Shug on the phone the other day, where I said maybe I should have stayed in Statesboro longer.
Maybe,
and but I didn't. And wound up in Florida. And that was and I talk about it somewhat in my story where my life just kind of, I exited Statesboro and exited everything else there as well. I exited AA. I remained sober for 2 years, but it was just clean time. It was, I just thought it was fine.
Yeah.
And I wound up in Florida, and now my life has changed, and I have no network down there or anything. And so now I got to rebuild again. And I didn't rebuild on like the greatest foundation.
Sure. No,
I rebuilt on this ego kind of came back, and and I was vegan at the time, so I was like mightier than the now, and I was like, and I was heavy into meditation and yoga and like this Buddhist approach now.
So you're super elitist.
Oh my God, I was better than everybody. and then I didn't realize everything coming back about 1.5 years of being there. And I just didn't think it would ever happen to me again. And it did. And it slowly comes back in this odd way. do you remember Tyler Brenner? Brenner? I love Tyler.
No.
I actually talked to him last night. I haven't talked to him in 7 years. But because he had relapsed and struggled a little bit. But then I didn't realize all this stuff coming back, and I was taking CBD gummies and all these things to like try to get high without getting high.
Sure.
And then boom, I end up walking into a vape shop and buying Kratom. And that was the craziest thing because I never
even understood Kratom. Why?
You're going to hear a lot more of it now.
I don't get it.
It's insane that it's illegal.
That's legal.
That it is legal. Yeah. Don't understand. It's wild that you can just go buy that stuff.
Doesn't it taste like shit?
Horrible. It tastes like fermented dirt. Dude, it is.
You just take it like a shot, right?
Well, I think most people will buy like the powdered form.
Yeah.
I was always buying the liquid extracts because that's the very first way I did it. So I knew that way worked. So I never actually took the powder.
Okay.
But powders line the walls in those stores.
Yeah.
But then I was always there's all of these different kinds of shots, and I was taking this one called OPMS.
Oh, OPMS.
Opium. Oh, I never even thought about
Makes
that.
sense.
Opium. Yeah, but OPMS, and it's this wild little. It's like an upper, but it's an opiate that feels like an upper.
Sounds nice.
And I never will forget that moment that I first took it. It relieved what I was searching for about 5 seconds.
There you go. That's all you need.
Immediately, I felt the impending doom of, oh my God, I'm so screwed. I don't know how to get out of this. And I ran back into the rooms of AA, and I hated every single second of it. I hated every person in there. I rose my hand to talk and be like, hey, does anyone ever heard of this stuff, Kratom? Did I relapse? And one guy, Steve, comes up to me at the end of the meeting. I owe him an amends. But he's like, yeah, dude, you relapsed. And I was like, no, I fucking didn't. I gave away 4 years, dude. No way.
It's that sucks. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, and
'Cause it takes, like I remember in the beginning, like, when you get into like, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, you're like, "Holy shit, that was a long time," and then you hear people in the rooms, and you're like, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you're like, "How the hell do I get that amount of time?" And especially in those first 5 years, like, those are hard 4 or 5 years to get to, and to throw that away, it's demoralizing.
it was, I didn't know what to do with myself for a
Sure.
while. I mean, I sat there for a while and was like, "What do I d who do I tell? How do" I didn't wanna tell you, I didn't wanna tell Tim, I didn't wanna tell anybody. I felt like, I don't know if I had that, like, outcast Statesboro outcast mentality still,
Sure.
like, what do I do? Am I gonna lose my friends? Am I gonna lose this thing? And it was just like this, and I built my whole life on that Frank is sober.
Mhm.
And everybody in Jacksonville at that time knew I was sober. And I remember trying to hide it for a little bit. So I went to a meeting, I hated every second of it, yelled at the guy Steve who told me I'd relapse, ended up becoming my sponsor for like 2 weeks. And then I ran right back to the vape shop
Mm.
and bought more and bought more. And then I was stuck on it for technically like 4 years, but on and off. And then before I picked up other things,
Yeah.
which is wild.
No, I know. It's funny how, like, you can trace it back to that, but, you alluded to it. I think when you at least for me, the people who I've seen remain consistently sober for long periods of time, they may waver away from the rooms, but they still stay in touch with it. And that to me means, like, still connecting with people within the program and surrounding yourself around people within the program. Um, when you lose touch of that, you tend to lose that connection you had to being sober, and then drinking seems like a better idea.
Well, I also like, I try to think back, like, 6 months prior where I was, like, heavily overdosing on pre-workout, things like that, where I don't take anything. I don't take pre-workout nowadays. I stay away from cold medicines. I don't do any of that stuff, which I had to learn. But I go even the story that I told in the beginning, to go to the "how did I get here" moment, taking that first shot of kratom, leaving the vape shop, and then 5 years later being stuck in active addiction again, to go, "How did that one shot of kratom lead me to running out of a house in Jacksonville?"
Sure.
And going, "How the fuck did I get here? I'm
Hmm.
this kid from Yardley. Like, why am I in this ghetto right now having guns pulled on me?"
Yeah.
And,
No, I felt the same way when I had that moment. Where was Tim's house technically?
Langhorne,
Langhorne. I was like, "How the hell did I end up in Langhorne, PA?"
it's a nice area.
And, like, I grew up in, like, in Bellevue or Clyde Hill, Washington, if you know anything about those places. It's not ghetto. So, it made no sense to me how I got there, and it really could stem back from, you know, a myriad of decisions many years before, right? And I had a hard time grappling with that.
Langhorne's really nice.
Langhorne's nice?
Langhorne's nice.
I don't know anything about
Bucks County's nice.
I know Bucks County is nice. I don't know, like, if there's individual places within Bucks County that are better than others, but
100%.
yeah.
Drive through more parts of New Hope, drive through more parts of Buckingham, Doylestown,
Mm.
Newtown. So nice.
I know Newtown, yeah.
But then you start getting down to, like, other part even
Wait, is Levittown part of Bucks County?
oh, yeah.
Uh, okay.
Yeah.
So there are better and worse parts.
There's some nice parts of but there's some nice parts of, Levittown. Well, Levittown is nice. It's just, the way that town was built after World War II is the reason it the way it is. They're called Levitt towns. Do you know
Oh,
about it?
I do know
Yeah.
about Sam Levitt and
Yeah.
the whole concept of suburbia. Yeah.
Yeah. So they all, yeah, I mean, now all the homes look the same. They're all, like, A-frames and things like that. So Levittown's not bad. It's just, closer to Philly. Yeah. And then you have Ben Salem and things like that, which is right on the border, which
Mhm.
really nice parts of Ben Salem.
Mhm.
And then there's not so nice parts of Ben Salem.
Mm.
I don't want to talk too much crap about Levittown because there is some really nice parts of Levittown. And I have friends that live in Levittown. But yeah. So wild how we first met and how
Was.
you went from how did you maintain sobriety? How do you think you did it? Because you're 11 years now, right?
11 years, yeah. No, I can give you the phrases everyone says, like, one day at a time, the whole thing. I think I was just absolutely done. And for me, like, the level of pain that I had gotten to, I really wanted a better life for myself, and that cemented itself enough for me to, like, truly believe I was an addict, and I had tried. I think the biggest thing is I had tried for, like, 2 years before to stop, and that was enough evidence for me that, like, "Oh, holy shit, I probably have a problem." And I have, like, a lot of family history, and it was very apparent to me that I could become a lot worse.
Do you ever think about it?
What, using?
Yeah.
Only one thing, I miss weed.
Really?
That's the only thing I miss. Yeah, I don't miss drinking because whenever I drank, I did stupid things. I miss weed. Like, I have a normal wife, and every once in a while, she can have a gummy, and it's like that's all she has. She'll have, like, a half of a gummy, and, she'll eat some popcorn and ice cream and giggle at a movie and go to sleep, and I'm like, "That looks really nice."
You know, we would be so different from 11 years ago than it is today, probably.
Probably a lot better. I mean, but
I
at the
say
same time, I
probably
grew
like
up
I didn't do it 2 years ago.
I mean, no, but I grew up on the West Coast, so, weed was pretty solid.
It was actually the very last thing I used before, this term of sobriety, because I had went on a crazy run. It only lasted a couple days, really, but I needed to just come down,
Mm.
so I ran over to Jersey because it's legal over there, or
Yeah.
they just buy it in the shops.
Shops, yeah.
So,
No, the medical marijuana was legal like, um, in, like, 2012 in Washington. So, I had a little experience of going and getting pretty solid weed, and then I went to school in California, so it's always, like, really good.
shit, yeah, I thought it was cool walking in one of those shops when I was going to buy it. Felt
It
like
is
I
cool.
accomplished something.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
It's a
can
good way
do
of
this.
looking at it.
Yeah.
I'm buying weed at a store. Look at me. I've graduated from some random dude in a car or going down
Oh, like buying like your drug dealers in a car?
mm,
Is that what you're saying?
mm,
I was like, "Am I a random dude in the car?"
yeah.
Tim Meyer and I ended up living out of my car.
That's good for you guys. I'm
Did you
excited.
know that?
I remember hearing stories about this. Yeah, it was like you 2, like, parallel, like, on the passenger seat and the driver's seat, just, like, sleeping together in the same car.
And we set up the trunk as Tim had the right side, I had the left side, and we had these little shelves
You guys
for
are
our clothes.
look at you, how ingenious of an idea that
We
is.
would work at this one restaurant and then drive down, go get some stuff, drive back, sleep in that restaurant's parking lot or a hotel parking lot, anywhere that we could, sometimes in Philly,
Mhm.
and we'd sleep in that parking lot and, or whichever one.
That's living the high life, literally.
The highway life. The 95 life.
Yeah.
Just back and forth between Bucks County into Philly.
I know, it's
Dude, the stories that we have of our main drug dealer was insane.
I'm sure he
His
was.
name was Zark. Zark and Dasha.
That sounds made up.
Zark the Shark is what we used to call him. Tim and I wrote a comic book about him. That's what we do. We'd sit in the car at night and we try to sketch this comic book together. And Dasha was her last name was Ambrovovich,
Mhm.
and we'd call her Dasha Kakrukavich because she wouldn't die. It was insane, dude.
Oh,
And he was Zark the Shark was his character. I think they're both dead now. I actually got word that like this was years ago that
So that's why you talk about him freely.
yeah. Zark
So-
I think Zark when I got to Statesboro passed away.
Mm.
I think I had 13 friends in that first year of Statesboro
Pass.
but yeah, from this.
Yeah, that's one thing that's always so traumatic is that, like, I remember my sponsee, like, going through the first couple of people passing away, and I'm like, "Dude, I know sounds super callous, but you gotta learn to step over the bodies because that's just more evidence that what you're doing is right."
Yeah. Yeah. I remember getting pretty numb to it, but I told you I almost died. And did I tell you that in Florida? I ended up in the hospital. Oh my God, this kind of
See,
a
the
funny
problem
story.
is like, the amount of like, the amount of calls I had with you where you were definitely methed out, there were a lot of crazy things being talked about, and
I'm going to tell the story, and I never thought I would on
okay,
the
let's do it.
podcast. Ready? So I was taking, and I'm not going to say why I was doing all this stuff though, but I was taking meth, but I was also taking Cialis. at the same time because the meth will mess with you a little bit, you know.
Isn't that like not a good combo to do? Probably
horrible, dude. You're
probably really bad on your heart.
Your veins are wide open and your blood pressure is
spiked.
Oh my God. So, and I'm on these calls for work. I was working for the real estate investment company. It was like a wholesale company. And I'm working on a Saturday and I'm just doing math.
Dialing for dollars.
And yeah, and I remember getting like 5 contracts that day. And I'm just talking to people. And I definitely, I had taken Cialis that day, or I like still had it in my system because Cialis is different than Viagra. Like it lasts for days. And it stays in your system way different. And all of a sudden I'm sitting and I'm at my ex-girlfriend's parents' house doing this, right? Because I was living there at the time. And my hands all of a sudden start to go cold. My fingers do. Then my toes start to go cold. And I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm dying. But this panic comes over. And I had started to get these really, really bad meth-induced panic attacks. That would last hours. There was no way to come out of them. And I'm sitting in this work chair and I call to someone in the other room and I'm like, I need you guys to call 911. I need you to call, like, I think I'm dying. And they're like, no, you're just having an anxiety attack or a panic attack. I was like, no, this one's different.
Yeah.
And all my blood's running away from my extremities to, I'm guessing, my main organs. And the ambulance shows up.
Did you just have like a massive boner?
Dude, I had a boner. And I get wheeled out of their house on this.
Like just pitch in a tent? Nice. Okay.
Dude,
at least
I remember thinking, God, this is so embarrassing.
Yeah.
I'm dying right now.
You should be proud of that 4 inches, you know? Like that's exciting.
I remember honestly thinking like, I'm about to die, but I'm also really embarrassed. So I get wheeled out. I remember them trying to end, like everything's so sensitive on my body at this point. And they like put me down like the stairs and I'm like, oh my God, dude. And they wheel me down the driveway with a boner. And and they put me in the back of the ambulance. I'm just laying on the fucking on the whatever gurney. And I'm just like, they're like trying to put a needle in my arm. My skin is so sensitive at this point. And they like put one in and I just like look down and I go, oh God. Oh God. DT. Do something about it, dude. Oh God. Oh, geez. They're like pumping me full of saline or something, dude. Dude, I don't think my boner went down like that for like hours. Oh man, dude. And they wheeled me out of the ambulance, and my resting heart rate was
135.
No, it was like 220.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Resting. How are you?
220. That's what they told me. And no, so that's like 220 beats. That's like,
yeah, no, that's
so really bad. And
oh my God.
I remember like coming to, waking up, and they're like, you almost died.
No shit.
Yeah. And I'm sitting in the hospital. I wake up to my sister Pam like yelling at me.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And my ex at the time, she even found drugs in my pocket, and I lied about it. I was like, that's not what you think it is. And
it was just like a bag of meth.
Yeah.
What did you try to pawn it off as?
I tried to say it was crushed up Adderall. Yeah.
That's so dumb.
I know. Yeah, dude. Well, I wasn't thinking what great, but I'm sitting there and.
But you had a massive boner. So it's
I don't think I had one when I came to, because I'm laying in bed and the one nurse, she's like trying to take the tape off my arm to get like the IV out, and she's like, and I'm like, ow. She's like, you're being such a baby, stop. And I was like, fuck you. Jeez.
Do you not know how embarrassing?
Do you not know who I am? Yeah, dude.
You don't know how embarrassing this is.
And I sit there, dude, and I had to go home that night, back to my ex's parents' house. It was so embarrassing, dude. It was horrible. I couldn't sleep, right? And because stuff's still in my system, and yeah, dude, I woke up the next day, just walk out that room and be like, I'd have a talk with her parents, and dude, this is the stuff that you don't have to go through anymore if you stay sober. And I remained sober for like six months or something after that, and then I had relapsed, and then it was all over after that. And then I just went on, and that's when the tear happened of 6 months because I was just free of a relationship, and it went on. And then that's when it went into the whole world of craziness, where I end up, just bunch of illegal activity, and then end up back up here. But that I made that call for help after I left that house in Jacksonville.
No, it's funny. Like, I think I say this to people a bunch is like, what's the level of pain it takes for someone to make the decision?
Yeah.
Right.
That's
it.
A boner.
A boner. Just, I could just like imagine her mom sitting there going, "Oh God."
Yeah. I wheeled up in front of the whole family, dude.
Even the dogs were embarrassed.
2 dogs.
I know.
Yeah. Even the dogs are embarrassed. They're like, "Oh God, dude. Oh man, dude." They're like swatting at it, dude.
What is that?
Oh jeez.
Oh shit.
Oh, leave me alone. Oh my God. I remember actually even sitting in the chair and they were trying to wheel me out at first. And I was trying to, because I was literally, I remember like, it was like now the cold's running up my legs.
Yeah.
And I was even sitting there thinking like, God, I have a fucking boner. And I was like, no, give me a minute. And they're like, we need to get you in the ambulance. I was like,
no.
I was like, give me a minute?
Yeah. It's like, can I go to the bathroom?
Give me like a second. And they
no, my girlfriend's right here.
No, I don't think she was even home at the moment. I think she was the only one not home. So I deal with the whole family. And I definitely owe amends to them. I don't think I'm ever allowed to make amends to them. But
I'm not your sponsor, but
probably not.
That's probably it's probably
yeah, I know.
Living amends. That's what you do.
Well, I thought like, could I send them a letter or something? Just say, hey, sorry.
No.
But
who's that really for?
Absolutely. Well, today it wouldn't be for her.
Yeah.
But if I would have thought that I had a year, yeah, like a year of leaving Jacksonville, yeah, I would have thought that. But
you know what the great part about this is? Like, we all think that is as embarrassing as it was for you. I guarantee you're a blip in the radar of their life. Like, it's not worth reopening that wound.
Well, she's moved on by far. So like,
I was more so talking about her parents. Like, it's such a small portion of their life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a funny story here.
Yeah.
Almost dying, but like in a funny way.
I love the morbid humor. I think it's great.
Dude. Oh man, but having to go back in that house was like, I ended up staying there for another 6 months, and it was like, geez, gosh, like no one ever mentioned, the full scale of that story to me again. But yeah, it was so embarrassing. So embarrassing, dude. Thank God. That's such a sad, it's such a sad moment. Like, it's funny, like the way that we talk about it, because it's kind of funny. It would like make a funny movie scene, but like at the same time, it was so sad because I was dying, dude. I was literally, my heart, like, I don't know if I would have done another day of meth. My heart would have exploded.
Probably. Yeah.
But I still just didn't think I was that bad. Like, I just thought, like, always in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I got this. Like, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out eventually. Like, it might not be today, but maybe tomorrow I can restart.
That's literally the brain of everyone.
Every
drug addict.
Yeah.
It's, you know what? Oh, shit. I'll figure it out tomorrow.
Yeah. Dude. You want one?
Yeah, I do.
In the body of Christ. But I don't know. It was just freaking wild to do that shit.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that with me.
Yeah. I didn't think I would share that, but because it's kind of embarrassing. It's funny. I would share it with you because you find it funny.
No, I do. I find it very funny.
But I'm not just going to share that with like some 30-year-old sitting across from me, be like, hey, you want to hear a funny story? They'd be like, you're wild, dude. Why would you do that?
You know what's funny? Like, thinking of, the audience you're sharing things with, right?
Yeah.
So I remember, so to go back to like living in Statesboro, I was consumed, and when I say consumed, I mean this in every facet of the word, with sobriety at that point in my life. Like every single thing.
They brainwash you in that way, which is awesome.
No,
Yeah.
it was just like the people I spoke with. I rarely had interactions with anyone that wasn't involved in some way in sobriety, right? And then you have small interactions. It's almost like a beta test, right? They give you small interactions of re-immersing you back into the world. And I remember like going back to school. That was like a huge thing for me. And I was about 8 or 9 months sober at that point, and I was going to Georgia Southern. And I had a conversation with someone. And I'm originally from like the Seattle area, right? And you don't meet too many people beyond being outside the state of Georgia that go to Georgia Southern. So having someone from Seattle go to Georgia Southern was like a super foreign thing. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
And so I remember someone asking me like, so how you're from Seattle? Like, how'd you end up here? It's like, well, actually, and I'd go into like almost as if it was like an AA meeting. Like I'd be like, oh yeah, no, I'm just a hardcore drug addict and did all these different things. I had a really bad coke problem. And then you'd see their face like slowly just like, and they're like, oh yeah. And then it took me a few times to realize that that's probably not what you do when you're trying to re-immerse yourself back into the world. But
yeah, but like that's what you end up doing in early sobriety.
Yeah, like but that's what that felt like. Because that was my identity, right? It's like I was someone in recovery. That's what I was doing. That's why I was here. And I didn't understand the nuanced nature of who I shared that with because that's what I did. I was like I said, consumed by my community. I was just like, that's what I did. I shared with who I was. And it was good because like my foundation is very much, you're a drug addict, you're in recovery. But I didn't understand like you couldn't share that with other people quite yet.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't finish your story.
No, that's it. That was it.
It's weird this time around. I don't do that at all.
No, and I don't think you have to. I felt like that it was, I don't know. I felt like it was something I needed to share for a long time. And then like, I remember just actually, funny enough, I have a relationship with someone like I said, I go back to Statesboro quite often and I do work sometimes outside of Savannah. And I've had a relationship with someone in business for a while, and she had kind of opened up about how she was going to a funeral, and it was her cousin who had passed away from something to do with addiction. And I was like, did I ever share with you like why I do business here? Because I still work in Seattle and I do business in Georgia. And she's like, no. I'm like, yeah, I say all these things, but really I came here because of rehab, right? And that was after a 2-year relationship, right? So it's definitely changed like how I approach sharing that kind of information.
Yeah, I don't tell many people. It's weird. So I still haven't drank in 10 years, which is insane.
It is. It's a win in and of itself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think it is.
It is.
And it depends who I share that with. Others don't. But the good people do. But because it's insane to me.
You never drank once?
Not once. Dude.
Even when you're doing all that meth?
Don't know, because this is my mindset. When alcohol was such a heavy part of my story up until 2016, I drank I would get off of work and just chug a half a pint of vodka or a full pint of vodka to just get going.
Yeah.
Dude, it was insane how involved alcohol was part of my there was not a day that went by for 8-9 years that I did not put alcohol in my body. But then my thought process, I think, was if I drink, I'm over the edge. Like, even though
I love how that's the
fuck yeah.
Oh, I'm bad. Like
I'm doing meth.
Yeah, but this is.
But if I drank, no. But I'm serious. It was like this whole thing that, like, I would just tumble out of control, even though I became so out of control. But I also thought, well, I couldn't drive if I drank, and driving became a part of my daily everything. And I was living in my car, so it was like, I don't know, but for some reason, the obsession of that, there was maybe 1 or 2 times I saw beer and thought beer would be nice, but it didn't even cross my mind. I didn't even have to fight the urge, which is wild. That it was gone. But even today when I share with people, I don't share with people that much. Like if people end up finding out that I don't drink through others than me telling it most of the time now. Or if I hang out with a girl, say we go out, order a club soda and lime is usually my drink. And then you get like kind of the, are you not drinking? I
Yeah.
go, oh,
No,
yeah, I don't.
I remember dating and that always being a really tougher thing for me to cross. I'm like, and I just started taking the approach of, I'm just gonna lay down the line because if they don't like it, then I don't
Easy.
want to be with them.
Get them
Yeah.
out of the way. But the story I usually get is, oh, my ex was an alcoholic, or my brother was an alcoholic, or
Yeah.
my so and so was an alcoholic, and I go, okay,
Mhm.
okay. I don't. What do you want? Where do you want to go with that? But it was also, I also don't share too much about it because there's still so much shame and stigma behind. And I say this a little, and I'll talk to people in treatment centers about this. Like I just spoke at a rehab on Monday, and
They let you in?
yeah, no, I stuck in the back.
Okay.
And I'm the speaker.
I'm not checking in.
Yeah, I'm not checking in. God, dude. But I say it in this way because I've been struggling with addiction and alcoholism for pretty much since I was 16 years old. And I try not to share about it much anymore because I don't know what the other individual's view is going to be, but it's like, oh, I only have this amount of time sober. Well, and I never say how long I have sober on here. But I say I only have this amount of time sober, but they may judge me for my last use because maybe I'm judging myself for my last use. But I've been doing this for 15, 16, 20 years, right?
Mhm.
So it's like, no, I've been kind of trying to be sober my whole life, but I don't want to be judged for my last use of sobriety, right? So that's why I don't like to share about it too much or ever I don't tell anybody outside of the rooms how long I have sober anymore. Well, that's not true. I tell some people, but for the most part, I do not talk too much about it because I kind of want to keep it personal. I want to keep it as anonymous as possible.
Yeah.
I just say, I don't. And if they say how long ago, let me get to know you a bit more and then I'll tell you or something. But, yeah, that's one thing that, like people at the tavern don't know how long I have other than Chris. That's it. He's actually the only person who knows my true sobriety date. And only reason he knows is because of, he ends up going with me, right? So then it's and I had to raise my hand a couple times, and I did, and that fear came in and going, he's gonna know.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't really matter as long as you're actively participating. It doesn't really matter.
Well, my sobriety now is, I think, even better than 2016
I hope
because
so.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, me too. Because 2016, you're locked down into a house, kind of not really locked down, but you're in a house that you kind of agree to be in for a certain amount of time, and you're kind of somewhat forced to go, and it's a great forcing.
Yeah.
And this time around, I'm choosing to go every single day.
Sure. No, I mean, like the underlying reason, like that can transform. Like if they force you and then it transforms into you like going, right?
Yeah.
That's great, but you have to go for you. That's the only I've seen people go into sobriety because they're forced to by whether it be legal or for family, but it eventually become like if they have long-term sobriety, it's because it became for them. But if you're not going for you, it doesn't really work.
Yeah, and it was weird having such a good taste of sobriety for years, and then being, dude, don't ever relapse.
I'm trying not to.
If you ever think about doing it, don't do it.
Did I ever tell you I was really close?
No.
Yeah, dude. So I don't know how anyone got sober or in COVID. Like remember the first
That's what I realized.
yeah, like March through I'd say May, it was like really like lockdown. I don't know about how it was for you, but
I was in Florida.
you were in Florida, so it was different.
Wait, 2 weeks.
Yeah. In Seattle, I was living in the city at that time. In Seattle, it was true like lockdown. Like couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything. You were stuck in your house. Like the only time you were able to go and get food was like you had to go and line up and then they only allowed X amount of people in the store at a time and it would take you like 2.5 hours.
That's fucking nuts.
Dude, it was wild, right? And
And you guys were all like for it. You're like, yeah, we should be doing this.
I didn't know what it was. I was loving it because the job I had at the time, they basically said, "Don't do your job," and I was like, "Okay." And they got a whole bunch of PPP funding, so they couldn't fire me. So I had like a 6-month hiatus of doing nothing, and it gave me a lot of time to think about what I wanted for my next steps in my career. But anyways, I was living with someone at the time, my ex, and she liked to smoke pot, and it wasn't a problem for me. It was like, okay, do your
I
thing.
remember.
I don't care. And I remember being like, being on the phone a lot, and I think that was probably the catalyst. Like I had created a good community in Seattle, being like, I really want to use. Like I think I'm going to use. Like crossing that path, and there was a moment in time where I almost did. I was like actively looking at it. Like it was always around. It wasn't something that was difficult to get. Like I was very much contemplating going back, but for some reason, the feeling went away and didn't
Thank
do it.
God he didn't.
I was really close. Like it was because there was you couldn't get that physical interaction. Like we had Zoom meetings, dude, for like a year. Like we couldn't go in person for a really long time.
Yeah, Florida was different.
A little bit.
They just put all the meetings outside for a while,
hmm
which is nice in Florida.
hmm
But yeah, we were way different. We weren't really truly locked down.
No, we were locked down. It was really weird. Even when I started dating my wife, like it was in the middle of COVID, and it we had like basically there if you didn't have a vaccine, if you didn't have a card that said you were vaccinated, you couldn't go anywhere.
Did you get vaccinated?
I had to.
Yeah, I still never have, which is great.
No, we like literally if you wanted to go anywhere, you had to have this vaccine card to get into anything.
I had a fake one.
You could have a fake one if you wanted to, but I did not.
Yeah, but that was a wild time.
It was a wild
COVID's a
time.
wild time.
COVID was a wild time, but I'm happy it happened because it forced me out of that relationship, and then I eventually met my wife, and it was great. Who has been on this podcast, by the way?
She was great. That was awesome one. I
Yeah.
love that one. I tell people about that one.
Yeah, she's great.
I learned a lot about diamonds. I've had some other wild. Have you ever watched any of the other ones?
I have.
Nice.
Yeah,
Some of them are fun.
they are fun.
The psychic medium's fun.
Yeah,
Did you watch one of the last ones? The card. Oh, you saw the Carter one.
yeah, that
Or
one's
you saw
great.
the clips or whatever of those. He's so funny.
He is
Love
funny.
that guy.
He's a funny guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I would do one every day with him if I could. Just because he's so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But I think a lot of people relapsed during that time. I don't think.
Yeah, no, I have a couple friends who got sober during that time, and I'm like, how? I'm like, how did you? And they were just telling me, he goes, it got so bad, like because work wasn't, you were at home, and you had access. There wasn't a lot of work to do in a lot of instances, so it's like they naturally turned to and reverted back to what their natural state is, which is just being hammered or doing drugs, and it got so bad where they just like, I need to figure out how to get sober. I'm like, I have no idea how you did that. That's really challenging.
I don't know how people did it either. I mean, I struggled through it. It was just even like they did lock us down a little bit in Florida, but um, if I would have been in Seattle doing that for a year locked down like that, like idle time is a devil's workshop for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was like, it depended on which groups you were in, but, like, the groups that I was going to, we had a lot of, my home group has got a lot of older gentlemen, so they were fearful of, anyone contracting COVID, and, so we were a little bit more delayed, but yeah, it
You
took
know
a
what's
long
crazy?
time.
The emergence of like fentanyl kind of came up around there too. Because 2016, when I got sober, you'd hear about it, and but I could still do heroin.
No, I know, that was, like that was one thing that was funny is I was one of the few people when I went to rehab that my primary things were alcohol and cocaine and some ecstasy and stuff like that, but I never got into heroin or opiates or anything, and, everyone there, it was still kind of the tail end of that
Heroin.
opioid and heroin epidemic that was, like, in the early 2000s, like, and I was in Georgia, so it was a lot of people from Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, all that area, and it was very much it's like, "Yeah, I went to those pill mills and got all those
Oh, yeah.
and they were doing it for years, and this is where they ended up."
Um, it's weird when I went to rehab again a couple of years ago. Sitting in that treatment, it was insane. Nobody was there for heroin.
Hmm.
Nobody. No joke. Nobody. They were all there for fentanyl. And when I say, like, people that I had met, like, "Hey, have you ever done heroin?" They said, "No, we were strictly just straight fentanyl." And it would blow my mind.
Really?
I was like, Nobody, not a single person was there for heroin."
Hmm.
And, like, they were there for, other drugs too. But, dude, It was wild, and then the way they would talk about it didn't even sound like heroin was good, okay? Like
Yeah, it was pure, man.
no, it was
pure.
good, dude, like, you would just feel, like, fucking high, and it was like your face would change, you're fucking all wild, and, like, it wasn't good, but it was good, like, you were getting high. They would talk about it, like, the second they would do it I guess a couple people said that people had done heroin that weren't there for heroin, they'd move over to fentanyl, but they would say that the withdrawal was, like, 3 to 10 times worse than heroin, like, and it was like, heroin, like, you do it for a couple hours, like, you do it a couple hours later, like, you're coming down, but you still got, like, a good 8 hours that you're not hurting too much where you can go and try to find more, right?
Mhm.
Fentanyl is, like, that hour and a half, 2 hours is up,
You're feeling it.
you're in instant withdrawal immediately. The way they would talk about it was insane.
Yeah.
I was like, "Why would you" like, this it's a stupid question to ask a drug addict, like, "Why would you do it?"
Yeah.
Because I was doing it, but I was never doing fentanyl, but drugs. And,
Drug.
but, it would blow my mind the way that they would talk about it. It was crazy, and then, like, I'm so happy that it just wasn't really I had it in my system at one point because I failed a drug test at another place, and there was fentanyl popped up.
Yeah. I mean, but it was getting mixed with everything.
Yeah.
Like, I was even thinking about, like, I did a lot of blow and outside of LA for a long time, and, never was fentanyl
Yeah.
a thought.
I think it emerged towards 2018-ish, and then COVID, it just, like, blew up.
Mhm.
Everyone was on fucking fentanyl.
Yeah.
It was wild. Kensington's cleaned up. Have you seen all the bust out in Kensington?
Mm-mm.
Mm.
I've been to Kensington once, and that was for an AA meeting.
Oh. Oh, that's nice.
It was weird. I got yelled at very hard at when I went back to Emily House for going to Kensington. I'm like, I didn't even know what it was. So
I hung out there, didn't know I was in there until I ended up going back. And then I was like, they're like, "You're in Kensington." I was like, "Oh, I'm at K&A. I didn't even know I was like this what it was." And then eventually I spent a lot more time there. But it's it was extremely bad during COVID, right?
Yeah.
And really bad. But now this new mayor, female, she wants to clean it up.
Mm.
So have you ever seen Andrew Santino's Channel 5 about Kensington?
Mm-mm.
Do you know who Andrew Santino is?
Mm-mm.
He does, he's done Seattle before, he's done San Francisco, he's done all these places. And he goes in there and interviews these people. And as he goes into Kensington, he's interviewing these people like they're all in Trank, which is another one that wasn't around when you were around.
I've heard of Trank, but
Yeah, people are just doing that. Just doing that, like not even doing the other stuff, just doing tranquilizer, horse tranquilizer. So one guy in there, you should watch it. It's a good little hour-long thing. It's kind of hard to watch
Yeah.
at times, but it's also very interesting. But he's meeting with the one guy who's the main trank dealer there, and he says where he's getting it from. He's getting it from veterinarians and stuff, and
like legitimate veterinarian.
yeah, that the vets are like the ones who are getting it. And this guy, they're all messed up, muffled voices, and they're interviewing him. And they said there's no such thing as gang warfare anymore. And you're like, what? There's no such thing as gang warfare. And he says it's the Chinese versus the Mexicans, and they like show like little clips and whatnot. They say, yeah, the gangs aren't even fighting in Kensington anymore. That when you get a call for like a hit, you're either getting a call from China or you're getting a call from Mexico. And you run out and you do those hits. You don't know who you just did them for, but you're getting a payday.
Yeah.
And because the fentanyl's coming from China
Mm-hmm.
and something else is coming from Mexico. And when when China and Mexico find out that one got one from the other,
Mm-hmm.
that's when these hits occur.
Interesting.
So this bust happens like 30 days ago or like 2 months ago, less than 2 months ago. And the guy who they arrest is a fucking dude from Channel 5.
No way.
The guy with it's that guy.
No way.
And he's like, I'm making $100,000 a week, like all the stuff in the documentary. And but so buddy Matt, he has way more experience of like walking the streets of Kensington to go get the stuff. Where I was like driving it, like if I was ever really going in there, I was driving in, driving out. Where Matt would be like, I would just leave my apartment, walk over, and just walk in, and you go to every single little bodega, and you just walk into the bodega, and you could just ask for it. They give it to you, or they point in whatever apartment you got to walk into, and it was like the largest open air drug market in the United States.
That's wild. Yeah,
Insane.
I've never been actively in it, nor do I know how it functions, but we have a couple of those streets in Seattle that are
Chad?
Chad. It's a Chad. You know what's funny is that, like, people it got really inflammatory, like, because of that moment in time, like, what Chad was. Dude, if you weren't in that area, you had no idea that it was going on.
Okay, so tell me about that. What Seattle they make out to be this crazy, almost like warfare state at
Mhm.
times.
Mhm.
That and Portland.
Yeah, I mean, I've not experienced a lot of Portland. That being said, I took my wife on, like, a little birthday excursion down there, and they had just opened a train line from Seattle to Portland, and we thought it'd be fun. It, like, goes along the coast, and it's pretty and all that stuff, and so we took the train down there, and this is in the middle of COVID, and that was, to me, a lot scarier than Seattle. It was just
Oh, wait, you were on a train line there and you could see these?
No, no, once we got to Portland. So, we
Oh,
got to Portland, and granted, like, oftentimes train stations aren't in the best part of town, but so we get off the train station, and our goal was to go on a we were gonna go on a walking tour of this thing, and so we're walking, and, like, it was just, like, riddled with, a lot of people, and it just was scary. I didn't know who these people were. Were they gonna attack my wife? All these different things. So, there was a lot of crossing back and forth because there's not a lot of spaces on the sidewalk to actually walk. Um, but Seattle's changed, is it great? No. Like, are there places where I don't want my wife to go? Absolutely. But, it's not nearly as bad as I think people make it out to be.
see, I feel Philly's kind of safe.
I don't know Philly well enough to be able to speak to it.
See, like I go to Philly, I have no like my little sister lives down there. I have, and she lives technically right next to Kensington. So
Yeah,
she was
Fishtown, right?
in, yeah, so she was in Old Kensington where her last apartment was. It's northeast Philly. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't feel that unsafe, but you go into that, little 4 square blocks, whatever it is, of Kensington.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what I would say. It's like, there are definite spaces where you're like, "That's bad." But
Yeah, but
it's like
Kensington doesn't even feel that wild to me. Like, but maybe not for me, and maybe not for you, because you walk into those places and
and
there's
that
weird little homey.
and no.
Like,
No.
oh, brothers
Yeah, I
and
know.
sisters.
I I hear what you're saying. I think it's more scary for, like, my wife. Like, there's a lot of places where
Yeah, she's not us.
she's yeah, exactly. She's going down she goes and gets her hair done downtown, and, oftentimes her appointments are, at night, and she's just like, "I don't like going down there at that time because I don't know who's gonna be there or what's gonna happen," and there's you watch the news at all, it's pretty inflammatory.
Is it? Why do you think that is?
I mean, dude, that's what sells. Just a lot of things, and there are some crazy stuff, like, for sure, but it's I don't at least from my perspective, it's not as blown up as, like, the national media might portray it.
It makes you look at it and go, why does anyone live there?
Sure, I mean, it's a great place to live. Um, it's a challenging place to live just because it's a pretty expensive, but beyond that, like, there's a lot of opportunity, and I think that's why people live there, and it's just really beautiful. That's, like, the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think the nature would be awesome. I got to come visit you, by the way.
You do, you
I
do.
do. I really do. This
Um,
year, you want me to do it? I'll do it.
you can do it.
All
I
right,
got a
well,
place for you.
eventually.
Yeah, I don't wanna get into that, that's too much. I've been
Yeah,
going through a hellish remodel, and it's finally kind of at the latter stages, which is good.
thank God.
Yeah.
Um,
But dude, I live in the mountains, it's great.
yeah, no, I got to come out there and do that. um, because we do have Pennsylvania is a beautiful state. It really is. I know you may be more accustomed to Bucks County, like this whole, which is beautiful, especially Upper Bucks and all that. But when you get right outside of here, you're not in, Western mountains, but we're not far from Appalachian Trail.
Yeah. No,
So
I saw my cousins yesterday, they're like, "Yeah, we're going skiing." I'm like, "You're going skiing?
yeah,
What do you mean
where
you're
do they
going
go?
skiing?" I
In
don't
Jersey or PA?
think PA, I don't know.
We got
I think no, wait, they said where they were going. Bear
Pocono,
Creek?
Bear Creek. Yeah, that's Jersey, I think.
Okay, yeah, they said they were going to Bear Creek, yeah.
But we have Blue Mountain, which is a big one over here, and that's part of the Pocono Mountains. That might not be part of the Poconos.
I
But
just can't imagine skiing over here, like, it's just I live
oh, dude, I actually had someone talking recently at the tavern saying, they've been all around the U.S. and they love Blue Mountain.
Hmm.
It might just be, maybe it's just the runs. I don't know that are nice.
I live by a very mediocre mountain, but it's mediocre in comparison to the West. So, like, I'm from door to chairlift, I'm like 40 minutes, which is pretty sweet.
Probably like an hour or 15 from
Mm.
here for one. But yeah, no, people at Bear damn, I forget where Bear Creek is. It could be Pennsylvania. But there's what's considered nice skiing around here.
Hmm.
I
Nice.
don't know. I haven't skied in a while.
I haven't skied in a while either.
Yeah. Need to get you back in shape, dude.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Hear that laugh? That's a fat person
Then
laughing. Are you wheezing right now, dude? Oh my god. And then Alex, who's 185 pounds. Now he looks like he ate himself. Nah, dude.
Mm.
It's what it is. I gained a lot of weight at one point when I had first relapse and sitting there, dude, when I sat in rehab the last time, dude, did I tell you when I first got to rehab a couple years ago? After coming out of Florida, bro, I show up in treatment. I'm so twacked out of my mind. They found me I was so hungry because I just wasn't really eating. And they found me behind the Christmas tree, in my boxers. No shoes, no socks, just in my boxers eating meatballs, telling everybody I was vegan. Just fucking like ravaging with a plate of food as if I was like scavenging for it. And they found me behind the Christmas tree in the lunchroom, and I'm just half naked. And then I refused to wear shoes for a week because I told everybody I was from Florida. Because and I mean it's freezing. I'm in the mountains in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I remember that was
In
such a short
Donegal.
stint. Like what I remember you being like, "Yeah, I'm in Pittsburgh," and I'm like, "Okay." I didn't really. How long were you there for?
42 days.
Okay, so not long.
No, I tried to stay longer because I knew that I needed longer. But the payments lapsed, so they were gonna get me out of there. But then they sent me back over to Levittown or Croydon, Bristol.
Nice.
But yeah, dude, it took me a while to come to. But they were like, you have to wear shoes. And I'm in the mountains in Donegal and Pittsburgh. So I'm walking outside with no shoes on and it's snowing and it's like, but I told people that's not what I do. So, and I remember, dude, they were like, and I was going to groups barefoot, but it was fine to me. And like, I remember coming out of it after like a week on, I should probably put some shoes on, dude. Like, this is bad.
Yeah.
This is really bad.
I love how that was like normal for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how whacked up. Dude, I did meth. It was my worst stint for probably every day for 3-4 months, which is insane. If you do meth for 3 days, it's so insane. If you're doing it for 3 days, you're awake for 8. So it was 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, you were just hallucinating beyond your mind.
Dude, I tell some hallucination stories on here, but I don't always because I don't want to tell like too crazy war stories or anything, but craziest hallucinations in the world.
I'm sure.
Craziest, dude.
I'm sure.
Wild. Sleep deprivation. I'm awake for, I don't know. I think the most I was awake for was 7 days at one point. So
Do you like crash out after that? Do you sleep?
you go insane. You go into psychosis. You go back into psychosis while you're doing it. Yeah, you sleep for a little bit, but it's weird. Like you don't like your brain is. First of all, like I didn't really realize that your blood sugar is so low, so you're also freaking out from that. Like your body's having all these issues, and then yeah, you just start hallucinating like crazy. And then I would meet other people. They'd be like, "I'm awake for 2 weeks." I'm like, God, I would try to force myself to sleep, but I couldn't because it's impossible to. But yeah, you just start. You, st- you- there's a lot of things there that aren't really there. People, monsters,
I can't
demons.
imagine. Yeah,
There's nothing angelic
I've
about
done
it.
enough hallucinations for me that
These are the craziest ones, dude. I mean, there'd be people in my car with me that weren't really there, and then I'd snap out of it and be like, "No one's here." Having just wild, wild experiences. And I mean, like you never know when they're coming.
I'm sure.
So craziness. But do we have anything fun we want to talk about?
Fun. Let's talk more about you.
Yeah. About what?
What's going on with you these days?
Oh, I mean, I'm staying pretty busy.
Yeah.
In like a really, really good way. Well,
Yeah.
one, I go to meetings every day,
That's great.
which is amazing.
Mhm.
I chose that when I last relapsed. It was like the greatest thing ever. I
Mhm.
tell people that. I say it was the greatest relapse ever because it forced me back into the rooms of AA the way that I should have in 26, the way that I did in 2016, where I woke up and I wasn't afraid to of the consequences in a way. I immediately told my family, called a couple sisters, called the sponsor, called like 2, 3 other guys that I stay in contact with in sobriety, and just said, I did this and I don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
And my sponsor comes over, brings me to a meeting, and I sat there feeling like shit, but went through it. And then it like pushed me back in. I said, all right, I'll finally do it the way that I think I'm supposed to do it. And
Mhm.
it was just meetings every day. And got through the steps, and Matt, lives here, and I just went, all right, Matt, if you want to live here, this is how we're going to do it.
Mhm.
We don't always do it the same way. He went more like the Buddhist approach to it. He still goes to AA heavily, but I've been doing it like that and stayed out of relationships the way that, we're told to,
Mhm.
sort of. And yeah. And that's the way that, I'm supposed no actual relationship. And then I kind of threw myself. It's weird to look back on this because I threw myself into still the things that I like to do. Like I ran 4 or 5 half marathons this year, did a couple other running events. And I like doing that, and that kept me busy, but I needed to like fill time to make sure I didn't do the things that I wasn't supposed to do, like,
Mhm.
trying to download a dating app or, and I overdid it a little bit in the first few months, and then I took a step back, which was nice. But then started this. Um and then work a bunch. And like that's kind of been my life. Like when people ask me like what I do, I'm like, I kind of been picked up a good amount of hobbies or like continued the other ones.
Yeah.
So and now I have sponsees. I do that. Which is nice. That takes up a good amount of time too each week. Um Speaking of, I've spoken a good amount of rehabs this year, halfway houses, things like that. I just fully immersed myself back into AA in the way that I hope I never step away from again
Sure.
because it's been really beneficial.
What's been the biggest change you think? Like, I'm more so thinking about how have the relationships amongst your
That's funny. I was gonna say
friends,
relationships.
yeah, how and family, how they've changed?
Well, I quickly in the first few months got through my 4th and 5th, and then when I got to an 8th and ninth, I went back and made amends to the people that oh yeah, probably because was I talking crazy shit about people in my family like a year or 2 ago to you?
I mean,
Oh, because I was. I don't know if it was to you though. I went back and started mending a lot of relationships, and especially with my parents, because especially when we go back into addiction, we want to play the victim, and we want our problems to you know have a source, and it's usually we want to blame others that are trying to help us. So I went back and I was really mean to people for when I first came back and went to treatment and all that. And by the way, they call it treatment these days. You're not allowed to call it rehab anymore. Over here, at least.
Okay.
So stupid.
Whatever.
I know. I was corrected actually.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, when I called it rehab when I was speaking somewhere, and they said it's treatment. While I was sharing that, they called it out. I was like, shut the fuck up, nerd. But like, okay, dude, maybe it is for you.
Yeah.
But like,
It's rehab.
I was rehabbing.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, relationships are incredible, and it's you slowly. What's really awesome about early sobriety, it's so terrible, it's so hard at times because you're such an emotional ball of nerves
Mhm.
that I know it's been a while for you, but to look back on that time, it is like you're just exposed nerve and everything, it, any emotion that it touches, you're freaking out, and to look back on it like this, this last time being sober, it's been kind of cool to like watch myself just calm down,
Mhm.
which is really nice. Um,
Oh, I sense it, which is
the
great.
calm.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you. Because I try to be like things don't bother me as much
Mm.
anymore, and I'm not so like, oh, a pretty girl talks to me, I must go out and hang out with them. I must date them, and it's like I just or
Well,
like.
all you really gotta do is just share 'em your, pitch and tent
Tell 'em
story.
yeah,
Yeah,
dude, I'm a
yeah.
fucking drug addict with boners. Want to hear stories?
Yeah. That should be your opening story you tell people.
How fast can you run? They'll be like, I don't know. Why? Let me tell you a story. Dude, I don't tell many people that story. But it is funny. It's weird. Like I was going through that craziness, but I remember vividly cutting Will out, dude, just going, Jesus. Oh, somebody do something about it first before everyone sees. Down the driveway through the neighborhood.
Everyone saw.
I hope so. I hope they're impressed. Wow, look at that guy. That's really impressive.
Oh, man.
Thank you. Yeah. I could have steered the desk chair with my dick, just like joystick. Like, I could have fucking make a right hand turn. Oh my God, dude, so embarrassing. I always wonder what people were thinking then. I'll never know. Thankfully, never have to revisit that one. But yeah, things been good. So that's kind of what's going on. But then again, I try my best to kind of. Everything comes back to Statesboro, though. I go, when I'm feeling self-pity, go help somebody. You know, when I'm feeling down about myself, go help somebody. So like that's what I was taught at Arch. You know, like if you got nothing to do, go help somebody. Go do this. Go sign up for something. Go to a meeting. Go do this. And I've been pretty heavily involved in that, which is really, really nice. So like the roots of my sobriety still absolutely come from Statesboro, Georgia.
Good old Statesboro.
Love it.
No,
Love
it's true. Like
I heard you saw Todd Parrish.
I did see Todd Parrish.
I want his phone number.
I don't know if I didn't know Todd well.
I love that man.
He was at a meeting that I was at, and I was like, oh, okay. And then don't know him, whatever. And then we happened to go to the same place to pick up food after.
The only two places. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd you go? Doner Kebab?
I did go to the Doner Kebab. Good, yeah. Sans Doner Kebab. Shout out. That guy still remembers me. I love it because I went there so much.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That was great. I love that food.
That place was super good. So I was there and I was like, and he's like, yeah, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I was good friends with Frank. He goes, oh yeah, I remember Frank. Like, yeah, that's all I remember about the conversation, but it was brief. It was only about 30 seconds. So it wasn't very long.
I would love to talk to that guy. Just help him out if I can.
Yeah. No,
if he needs it.
I don't know what he's doing these days, but
he helped me out so much.
Sure.
You know, so I'd love to be able to, pay it forward.
Mm-hmm.
And do the same for him if I can. Because I love that man. He was a wild man. Not everyone loved that guy, but
you got to kind of be off your rocker to do.
Would you ever do that? Own a halfway house?
You need an operator. So I would never do it, but you need to have a stellar manager. That's how those things really run well.
You probably have to do it yourself.
Yeah. And that's the amount of, it's a thankless job just because like you're always having to deal with a lot of crises and they don't necessarily always want your help. So you're
dealing with adult babies.
Yeah. That's what you're dealing with. And I can't imagine, doing that for a prolonged period of time. This is just my own philosophy. I believe that once you've been in a treatment setting, you should probably try to stay out of it as much as you can.
I agree.
Yeah. And it's just that there are many days that I don't think about the program or alcohol and drugs. And I think that's the relief in and of itself. And that's because I don't go to a meeting or I don't do things that are associated with the treatment setting. When you're consistently involved in that at all times, it can be exhausting. and it's a continual reminder. So I just think it's just best to, and again, like that's my own personal feeling. It's not, for some people who want to work in that setting, that's their choice, but that's just not something I would want to do.
I would never do it. And it's weird going through the treatment centers again, after years of not being in them. I think they're even worse now. I would never want to be a tech. I would never want to be one of the, whatever the terms are for them. I would never want to be a therapist for them. I think AA is enough. I can help a sponsee out or just help anybody else out in the rooms. That's enough.
And I think that's for everyone's philosophy. I mean, that's the one thing that I think you get the latitude in AA to kind of, there are, I think, steadfast tenets that you should follow, but like there is a little bit of ambiguity for you able to make your own decisions about what you think is best.
Yeah, because sheesh, people that do it these days, I don't know how they do it.
No.
I was such a brat when I came back to go into a treat. When I came back to the treatment centers, I was a menace.
Yeah, especially because you've been in them so long.
I hadn't been in one in a
What I'm
while.
saying is that like you have enough experience to be able to speak and
Yeah.
talk to talk and maybe if you had, ulterior motives to want to get out, you probably could steer a lot of the conversations.
100%.
Yeah, right. They're like, "Oh my god, this guy knows the book."
I know what I'm doing. Just let me out.
And I'm sure that worked a bunch.
Well, they let me out of one. I relapsed like 2 days later, and then I got right back in it. I went to like 4 treatment centers in 6 months, I think.
Yeah.
When I came back up here, it was a PHP for 6 weeks, relapse, sent to rehab, went to the PHP, relapse, back to the PHP. I went to the same PHP 3 times. But that was one thing where I would sit. Actually, the one therapist thanked me months later when I saw him, but I would sit in there and I was doing more like the archway, like the Statesboro way, where people would be acting like big babies or just
Call
acting
them
like,
out,
oh,
right?
call them.
Yeah,
I'd
that
ask
was-
for a roast every day, dude.
Yeah, that was one thing that was actually great is that like both Frank and I experienced this is that we'd almost have this thing on Friday nights at least where I was at where it was basically like an airing of grievances, kind of like
Yeah.
kind of like what's that thing on Seinfeld that's so great?
I don't know. I never really watched it.
You never watched Seinfeld?
No,
Oh my
dude.
god, it's the best. It's Festivus. So
Oh, I know what that is.
yeah, so Festivus would have this thing called, the airing of grievances, and so we'd have that every Friday. It was just a place to just rip on the character defects of the people that were around you,
Yeah.
and I did not hold back, I'll tell you that. And people didn't hold back with me either, but I think it really helped because it helped people give you, like, your true perspective on how they felt about you, and if you didn't have enough, like, of a little bit you couldn't separate yourself, right? People took it too personal,
And sometimes you're in, especially in early sobriety, you're very delusional. So like you really do think some of the things that you need to be called out for.
Mhm.
And so when I got to these treatment centers, dude, I was treating it like I thought I was supposed to.
Mhm.
I was so hated.
Oh, for sure.
Oh my gosh.
They called me the lodge. I'm not going to say the word because it's not appropriate, but it was essentially akin to the lodge sheriff. Like, so the lodge was the treatment center I went through, and it's because I upheld all the rules. I was also the house manager for people in there, and they did not like me. But I'm still sober today, so
Yeah.
I don't fucking care.
But I remember sitting in this one place and it was like, God, dude. I mean, and it's weird because in the PHP, it was male and female, which it turned into male and female the third time I was there, which is insane because you end up living with them too. We were living in the same fucking house, bro, male and female,
That's horrible.
in like a 1,500 square foot house.
That's horrible. How many people?
Horrible
How many
idea.
people were sleeping together?
Oh, 0. No, they were pretty on top of that. Well,
Yeah.
Matt ended up getting a girlfriend there that he ran away from that rehab with. And
Halfway runaways. Got it.
get it. And he and that really turned out bad. But I mean, I would just call these people out in these groups and I'd be like, you guys, like, and say what I think I'm supposed to be saying and call them out instead of just like bowing down to their like, my mom was a bad person, and it's like, no, she fucking wasn't, bro.
That could be a part of, but it's not all
Yeah.
of it. I mean, I think
Like, take ownership.
the thing that I always go back to is, I remember my mom asking me once, it's like, what were like some of the pivotal moments like in you changing? And I'm like, well, one, it was just the amount of pain, right, that I was in was just enough for me to want to change. But two was that we go through these group settings, and I remember a counselor would say, she put all these words up on a board. It was just like a lot of character defects that, humans have. And the consistent word that came up for me, like every time, was "you're arrogant." And I'm like, oh, no shit. Okay, I should probably take a look at that. But it was like something that I really had to grapple with and I had to really like process. And it's like, oh, maybe I am kind of an asshole.
Maybe I should work on it.
Maybe I should work on it.
At least it helps you acknowledge when you're in a moment going, am I being too arrogant?
Yeah, exactly. And it's easier, at least in my eyes, and it's coming from your peers rather than from a treatment setting. Because like you can have a counselor or someone else tell you it's like, oh, you're arrogant, but if you're not getting it from your peers, you can kind of not totally believe it. But
And you can always pick and choose who's saying it to you. You know, you'd be like, well, that person is Fucking crazy.
But it was a consistent thing amongst multiple different collections of people. So I was like, oh, I should probably take a look at this.
Yeah, well, you are a bit, but it's not like it's not like
it borders on confidence. Who knows? Yeah.
I just think it's who you are. I don't know. I think it's I never really thought you were that arrogant. I mean, you're Alex, dude. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've always loved you. But yeah, so I remember even leaving the one house, packing up my bags because I had finished my stay there again for like the second or third time. This was actually the third time. And usually, someone leaves and they're like, everyone's saying like, goodbye, let me get your telephone number, type of shit. Actually, I had most people's numbers in there already, but they're like, you get kind of like a send off, and dude, people just sat on the couch and stared at me.
Oh, that's so good.
And I just wheeled my fucking luggage out of there.
God.
Nah, I just felt them all just like looking at me.
Oh, that's great.
Dude, it's crazy. Another part of this is everyone leaves on these pills these days. Everyone goes to rehab and they meet it. Dude, no joke. You get to treatment center now and you meet with a psychiatrist and they go, how you feeling? And I go, not so good.
Mhm.
I just came off a run. That's why I'm sitting here. And they go, you think you need anything? And they put you on antidepressants, like SSRIs, NSRIs, these other ones, all this stuff. Dude, I remember sitting with this one psychiatrist, and luckily I knew what I knew. And I remember going, no, I don't need anything. I need to come down. Like, let me come down, like, before I consider getting on like a mood stabilizer or anything. No joke. The med line 3 times a day is 20, 30 people long. While you're in these treatment centers, I was never in it. And
that was not the philosophy of the place I went to.
Telling you, it's a rehab industrial complex. It's the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies just getting you on stuff. People leave with bags of medications now. And then you get to the PHPs, and I was the only one in the PHP. Every day they wake up and the one guy would hand out your medications for the day. I was the only one who wouldn't sit in that line. They were all on some kind of antidepressants. Matt was on, he took himself off of them, luckily, because he's like, I thought I was supposed to.
Yeah.
No joke. 85 to 95% of people are all on meds when they leave.
That was like, I think one of the foundational things about the place I went to is that they were like, we're not putting you on anything beyond what would help prevent you going to a seizure if you're on any type of, alcohol or benzo, right? Like that, they would help with that, with your detox. But they were very much under the philosophy of, let's see how you are, and then we can evaluate thereafter.
In 3 months, let's evaluate.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, that makes sense. And never have been on an antidepressant, never went on anyone, never needed it. So that was
man,
great.
They all leave with it. And I'm not saying one, dude. They leave multiple.
That's sad.
It's so sad. Like, of course, like let my brain come down and rebalance.
Yeah, I know. It's like your brain has been going through like warfare for the last while, especially from like a neurochemical standpoint. Like, let me just, and the thing is too, it's like, yeah, I'm going to feel like shit. I've just been on fucking meth or coke forever, and I've been flooded with all these different things. Of course I'm going to feel like shit.
They would be on some antidepressant in the or whatever it was, one of those medications in the morning. They would take them midday too sometimes, and then they would give them trazodone and like Seroquel and stuff like that at night to go to sleep. And that, dude, it would.
I think the best part is not sleeping in the beginning because it reminds you of how shitty it is. Like, at least for me.
Not sleeping?
Like in the beginning, I couldn't sleep, right?
For like months.
I wouldn't say
have
months.
trouble.
It would be hard, right? And so then it's like, that we talk about creating calluses, right? It's like it would create those different pathways to struggle and be like, I don't want to go back here again. Because I go back to those moments, those like first 3 months, and be like, I don't want to experience that again. And like you hear it in the rooms all the time. It's like, it's a lot easier to stay sober than to get sober.
100%.
Right? So I'd rather just keep doing what I have to do in order to remain sober than trying to do it again, because I don't know if I got another sobriety in me.
I shared it in a meeting recently. I didn't even mean to say it, but I was like, I'm probably going to be, I was like, I've been in AA my whole life. I'll be in AA the rest of my life. I might as well do it sober.
Yeah.
Because it is just that. You might as well do it sober, dude. Because if you don't, you'll be right back here.
And you're going to be miserable either way.
Oh, yeah. And that misery is so much worse than those few days of, feeling some sadness.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Anything else you want to say? We can wrap it up is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. You're suggesting that. Yeah, sure. That sounds great.
Wrap it up.
Whatever you want to do.
Dude, I really appreciate you coming on
Of
here.
course.
I owe so much to you. I know you don't want to hear that, but wild from when we first met to getting down to Georgia and then still being, great friends today is incredible.
No, it's great. I look forward to coming back here all the time because I get to see you, so it's awesome.
I got to make it out to Seattle because I've never been, but also to see you. But yeah, it's crazy the friendship that we've been able to still maintain and keep and all that. My family loves
what are we 14 years in, 15 years in?
How long are you sober? 11 years, so
but I've
13, 14 years.
Yeah, so I met you in 2013, so 12 years.
Damn. Coming up on 13.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wait, did we do that math right? 13 years?
I think it's like 11 right now, and then because I met you right before I actually got sober. So, and I'm just over 11 years.
Yeah, that's wild to look back on.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Damn, you were twice the man you were. I mean, you're twice the man you are.
That's true.
All right. Love you, Alex.
Thanks, bud.